Hello everyone, and many thanks for joining this stream news summary from Moscow for 11th of July. Now it's 11 o'clock in the morning, and I have prepared. I've been told that mic is not working again. That's Hopefully mic is working now. My apologies, dear friends, but with this equipment, there is unfortunately constantly some issues. Uh, and sound is back. Okay, sound is back. So sorry, dear friends, for this technical issue. I don't know. I checked right before the streams. Mic was working, but yet again, what you gonna do about it? I have to buy new equipment, I guess, at some point. Nevertheless, it is 11th of July, 11 o'clock in the morning, and I have prepared quite a number of news, dear friends, on some major developments. And let's go through a new segment. New segment first. Yet again, after stream, let's take 15-20 minutes. Let's take 15-20 minutes for community chat. And so, okay, let's start this stream, dear friends. First news is from RIA Novosti, which is based on Defense Ministry's latest update that overnight Russian armed forces intercepted 155 Ukrainian drones over 11 Russian regions. So obviously, these drones were launched to strike deep into Russian territory, not just by Kiev regime, but by NATO. Let's be real here. This is NATO attacks on Russia, because it is NATO that provides not just drones for this Western-backed terrorist regime of Zelensky, but also flight path targeting data and so on. Right? I can give you more specifics on this drone strike. 53 Ukrainian/NATO drones were intercepted over the Kursk region, 19 over the Bryansk, 15 over Smolensk, 14 over Belgorod, 13 over Tula, 11 each over the Oryol and Moscow regions, 7 over Crimea, 4 each over the Lipetsk region and the Black Sea, 2 each over the Rostov and Kaluga. Unfortunately, according to reports that I see this morning, in several regions there were casualties as a result of this attack on Russia by Ukraine/NATO. Several people were killed and injured as a result of this attack. RT is also reporting that, Trump to send 300 million worth of weapons to Ukraine, according to Reuters, and this is the first military aid package that Trump is approving, by the way. All the weapon deliveries until now was 8 military aid packages that was approved during the Biden's administration, and Trump now is repeating everything that Biden's administration was doing. This is his war too. He loves to talk about how this war is Biden's war and that kind of crap. But at this point, I don't know whoever in right mind will take will have any respect for Trump, or would take seriously anything he says. By the way, that moron should never become a U.S. president. By the way, the U.S. citizens made a fatal mistake by trusting in this chronicle liar. But nevertheless, let's go through this news. U.S. So-called president, he's an Israeli slut, right? Israeli slut Donald Trump will, for the first time, use his authority to directly send weapons to Ukraine drawn from Pentagon stockpiles. Reuters reported on Thursday, citing two people familiar with their decision. While the Trump administration has so far only delivered weapons approved under his predecessor, former President Joe Biden, the Presidential Drawdown Authority, PDA, allows Trump to supply arms to Ukraine in emergency The new shipment could reportedly be worth around 300 million and may include Patriot anti-air missiles and offensive medium-range rockets. This is HIMARS rockets that Reuters is talking about, I believe. And well, no surprises, dear friends, no surprises. Obviously, many people were confused there initially. At some point, even I find myself being a bit confused there because for a week or two, I was really, like hopeful that maybe under the Trump's administration, US will de-escalate with Moscow. But I was wrong, and everybody was wrong, by the way, who had somewhat similar thoughts, right? And it is just too obvious now at this point. And also, when it comes to Trump, dear friends, Western media outlets are reporting that he promised to deliver a major statement on Russia on Monday, next Monday. So it is anybody's guess what he's gonna come up with, but I think he will brag about adopting this bill that was prepared in the U.S. Senate by such mentally ill creatures as Lindsey Graham and some others, right? And according to that bill, by the way, U.S. plans to sanction not just Russia but also Russian allies and on 500% with 500% tariffs. Russian allies, Russian trade partners, economical, political partners with 500% tariffs, and yet again, because U.S. Political class is total morons, right? I mean, literally morons, by the way, and Israeli sluts, basically. They actually may adopt that bill, which will destroy U.S., which will literally destroy U.S. consumer market, harm U.S. citizens in a way that hardly anyone would imagine. But yet again, I think one direction that Trump will go in his assault on Russia is to adopt that bill with the tariffs. Russia itself has no care, by the way, about it. We don't give a damn about Western sanctions. It's like 40,000 is already in place, up to 40,000, right? And what? I mean, somehow we are managing to get on with our lives, right? And overcome whatever obstacles collective West is generating. And additional, I don't know, another 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000 sanctions not going to change much, by the way, or anything at all, right? Russian allies might have some worries because if US will adopt that bill, that will mean that trade relationships between China and the US, India and US, even some NATO countries and US, like Turkey, by the way, is a believe it or not, but Turkey is quite a bigger trade partner with Russia, right? Including in energy field. And so by adopting this law, these countries, by the way, might face a choice that they have to basically divert their exports from US to some other parts of this world. And world is huge, isn't it? World is huge. And they will succeed, I have no doubts about it. And if anyone eventually will lose by this move of Washington, is US citizens. It is what it is. Also, Trump may come up with additional military aid packages, additional funding for the Kyiv regime, but yet again, it is unfortunate that more weapons and more money will for sure prolong this conflict, this proxy war that West is waging against Russia, but fundamentally it will change nothing. Russia already won, by the way. Russia has already won. And it's only a matter of formalization now of this victory. And at some point, collective West or Western ruling class, so-called, will have no option but to acknowledge that they have lost. And after this acknowledgement, they will agree on reparations for Russia, and reparations is going to be very serious. Mark my word, by the way, it did not look like that now, not for many people at least, but that's what is going to happen. West already lost, by the way, and this is just the beginning. Unfortunately, U.S. leadership decided to go down together with the globalists, with the globalist control regimes in Europe, and they're okay. I mean, if that's what U.S. wants, then we can help them with that, right? We can help U.S. to go down in history and to disappear. Yeah, as a failed monstrous empire, by the way. That's what U.S. has become, right? RIA Novosti is also reporting that I already said that yes, he's threatening Russia again. And take a look at this picture, by the way, that you see on your screen. I said this live stream gonna be short because there is not much really interesting news out there for this moment, at least. But there is something that we can at least laugh at her. For example, White House published this post, this picture, by the way, and you tell me if these people are not mentally ill in White House, including Trump, by the way. I mean, he is depicted as a Superman. I mean, this is horrible. This is horrible, man. I hope Russian leadership will never ever spend even a single second to talk to these morons, man. That's the people, by the way, mindset of the people and their mental state that are formally at least in charge of US. They are publishing this kind of posts, by the way. And this is too bad, man. This is something that psychiatrists gonna think about, because this is just not normal. I mean, this is just not normal, and I think even diehard Trump supporters gonna acknowledge this. You know that this is not good, man. Trump and his administration should act a bit more seriously, but they can't. They just can't, man. They cannot help themselves. You know, there is some cult now, isn't it, in US being created around this garbage element, a scum of humanity that Trump is, right? Sort of, cult when everyone is in administration, and there are people that are, feeding from administration. They are prizing Trump for almost everything, right? And they are making him some sort of, I don't know, godlike figure or something. This is insane, by the way. This is clearly some mental disturbance, right? That is taking place in US so-called elites, man. Holy moly, man. This scum of humanity being depicted as some godlike feature and being praised like 24/7 by this cult. Insane. RIA Novosti is reporting that, yesterday, Lavrov and Rubio had a meeting in Kuala Lumpur on the sidelines of ASEAN organization summit. And, after this meeting, Marco Rubio, head of US State Department, went to talk to the journalists and make quite a lot of insane, crazy, stupid statements, right? I'm not even going to share, by the way, what he was talking about. It was not our attention. I will just acknowledge that meeting took place, and I'm really sorry that Lavrov wasted their time talking to this moron, man. I'm quite sure there were much more important people in Kuala Lumpur that Lavrov could discuss some serious matters without giving any attention to this dirty animal, man. Marco Rubio, right? And it is time, man. It is time to take a stand, right? I hope Moscow will do this. Someone has to come out and say that, what, we are no longer talking to these primitives, right? Because U.S. Collective West political class is a primitive elements, right? Disgrace of humanity, scum of humanity, and no one should spare even a second talking to them, man. No, just leave communication lines between the security services, just to make sure that due to human error, we're not going to launch missiles at each other with nuclear warheads, right? Otherwise, don't talk to these morons, man. Just don't waste time. Time is precious, right? Meanwhile, when it comes to Western so-called elites, we have this report that Macron announces plans to patrol Ukraine. The countries of the coalition of the willing will patrol the air and the sea of the Ukraine after the conclusion of the ceasefire agreement with Russia as a part of the concept of restoring the country, French President Emmanuel Macron said at the joint press conference in London with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Okay, in your dreams, you might patrolling even Andromeda Galaxy, but in reality, French troops on territory of this former Soviet Republic will be legit target and will go back home in a body bags. Same will happen with the British troops and with troops of any other NATO member states. That's how it's gonna be, man. Right? But they are still dreaming about sending their troops, by the way. They are playing with their wording. Once ceasefire is established, we will send only then. But we all know what they want, by the way. They want to escalate this proxy war towards a direct war with Russia because Western ruling class, globalists, and whomever are in charge there, they clearly still think that they can defeat Russia. Those delusional, mentally ill animals cannot face the reality. They are just unable to face the reality, by the way. That's what it is, right? They still dream about achieving strategic defeat of Russia, and therefore they're going to escalate. They're going to escalate big time, as I was predicting. And societies in NATO member states should get prepared to receive their fellow citizens in a body box, right? Their fellow citizens that are in militaries that potentially will be sent to the battlefield, right? We will take care of them, 100%. Also, the so-called president of France, by the way, this creature stated that France and UK are upping their joint expeditionary force by 5 times, from 10,000 to 50,000 troops, according to Macron. And they're okay. I mean, do it. Once again, dear friends, I remind you that neither armies in NATO countries have any real experience when it comes to high-intensity battle. Otherwise, they would know that 50,000 contingent, for example, of UK and France will be eliminated on the battlefield in a zone of special military operation in about a month's time. 2 months time, by the way. Take a look at the casualty ratio of the regime's forces, literally on daily basis. Even now, when there are no major offensive operations, let's say, right? Russian troops are moving forward, but gradually, step by step. There are no RO offensives, right? For now. And even that is the situation, Kiev regime is on daily basis losing 13 to 1,500 military personnel. So, I mean, how many days are in a month? So Kiev regime almost every single month is losing 50,000 troops. 40, 45, 50,000 troops every single month. And these morons in leadership of France and the UK are thinking that they're gonna scare anybody with their 50,000 expeditionary force. Man, are you kidding me? They will die even faster than Ukrainians, because one should keep in mind, by the way, that if you take a Ukrainian battalion, for example, battle-hardened battalion, and any battalion in the French army or British army or US army for that matter, this Ukrainian battalion will probably slaughter them, right, in matter of hours, because they have high-intensity battle experience, and French militaries, British militaries, and US militaries have not, right? That's what it is, man. And we should stop being too diplomatic, man, in regards to these enemies of ours, right? And when I say enemy, I'm talking about Western elites, by the way. I have no issue with the people, right? I said this many times before. I have no issue with the people, even though, unfortunately, vast majority of societies in the Western countries are ideologized against us, are indoctrinated in Russophobia, and they would probably be happy if NATO would kill us all, right? It's not going to happen. We're not going to make them happy, but unfortunately, that's the attitude that Western societies have, majority, has towards us, right? But nevertheless, me personally, I'm not going down into that path of hate. I'm not going to hate nobody, right? Definitely not the ordinary people that were brainwashed by their own so-called elites, man. Thanks God, they are at least a small but well-informed minority in the Western countries that are trying as much as they can to wake up their fellow citizens, because situation is getting closer and closer to a point of no return, right? When a risk that globalists or Western ruling class will trigger a full-scale exchange between Russia and NATO will be extreme, right? Doomsday clock is already closest to the midnight than ever before. And also, by the way, the Nost is reporting that UK and France signed nuclear cooperation agreement. Britain and France have agreed to coordinate their nuclear forces. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said, we signed Northwood Declaration confirming for the first time that we will coordinate our independent nuclear deterrent. They don't have, UK don't have independent nuclear deterrent, but let's be real. France does, but UK don't, because UK's nuclear submarines are operating with their Trident missiles, right? And Trident missiles are built by US military industrial complex. It's not British missile system, right? Or delivery vehicle. So UK never had an independent nuclear deterrent and will never have. And if I was Russian president, I would make sure that Russian forces are conducting preemptive strike on both these countries to neutralize their nuclear capabilities, because that has to be done, in my personal opinion, by the way. Neither France, neither London can be trusted with nuclear weapons, and they should be denuclearized. 100%, by the way. It only takes for Russia about, 30 minutes, and neither of these two countries have either armies left, air force left, or navy left, right? And also, they would not have any nuclear warheads left. It's only a matter of literally 30 minutes. That's it, right? All is needed is the Russian president to give such order that these morons that are in charge of these two quasi-states in Europe cannot be trusted with nuclear weapons, and their action has to be taken. That's it, man. Right? Okay, that's enough for these idiots. RT is reporting that Hungary summons Ukrainian envoy over death of a recruit from forced conscription. Hungary summoned Ukrainian ambassador Fyodor Shandor on Thursday following reports that Ukrainian recruitment officers had beaten Hungarian men to the death. The incident allegedly took place in Ukraine's western Zakarpattia region, which has a sizable ethnic Hungarian minority. As I said many times before, by the way, Zakarpattia or Transcarpattia region used to be part of Hungary before First World War. Then this territory was given to Czechoslovakia, and after Second World War, Stalin took this region from Czechoslovakia and gave it to the so-called Ukraine, right? And ethnic Hungarians, hundreds of thousands of ethnic Hungarians still are living there, right? And Budapest has some serious issues with Kiev for in many directions, but one of the issues are that Hungarians, by the way, ethnic Hungarians, were not treated with respect, right, by this Nazi terrorist regime in Kiev. And this is an example of that, by the way. Ethnic Hungarian was beaten to the death by these so-called recruitment officers while they were trying to kidnap him to forcefully mobilize. We have quote here, "It is outrageous and unacceptable to beat someone to death, especially a Hungarian, simply because he refused to go to war and take a part in a senseless killing." Hungarian Parliamentary State Secretary for Foreign Affairs and Trade, Levente Magyar, said. And one more step towards further escalation between Budapest and Western-backed terrorist regime of Zelensky. And I wonder how long Hungary's leadership will manage to keep its cool, by the way. At some point, they're going to intervene. They're going to intervene militarily. I think so. Also, Middle East, by the way, I know I said many times before, isn't it, that in my personal opinion, globalists and their allies in the collective West countries want to provoke regional war in the Middle East, and recent 12-day war between Israel and Iran was just first phase of it, right? And we have more and more indicators, by the way, that that exactly the case. I think second phase of the escalation in the Middle East is about to begin. Clearly, there is an active preparation of the ground for that. And for example, New York Times or New York Post, sorry, published their article with the headline that some enriched uranium survived U.S. strikes on Iran nuclear sites is still acceptable, according to Israeli officials. We all know, by the way, that Trump is an Israeli slut, right? And the entire administration, by the way, in US is Israeli bitches. Am I correct? I'm correct, by the way, 100%. You may don't like it, but well, there is a cold water in the top, right? That might help. But it is what it is, man. The US is run by Israel. So therefore, I think it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. And Israeli lobby in US will push Washington to get engaged again in the Middle East in a negative way, which means more wars, by the way, more wars, more strikes, more escalation. And one should keep in mind that globalists want to provoke regional war between the countries too, right? For them, it's not enough to provoke war between Israel and Iran, or between to push U.S. towards the strikes on Iran. They want to push Gulf states, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, Qatar, as others, to escalate with Iran. That's how I think they are imagining to provoke. I mean, globalists, imagining that they can provoke long-lasting conflict in the region to shut down navigation in the Persian Gulf and through Hormuz Strait, and to take a big hit on Chinese economy, which is heavily dependent on energy supplies, right, from this part of the world. And so, yes, we should expect further escalation. This process of preparing the ground for second phase of destabilization of the region never really ended. And soon we will see more and more activities in this direction from collective West and Israel. Meanwhile, Iran's foreign minister, is once again stating that her country is open to talks with Washington, but there are conditions. U.S., according to Abbas Araghchi, U.S. must offer guarantees against any attacker, commit to mutual respect, acknowledge its mistakes. I mean, come on, man, let's be real. You really expect that U.S. leadership will acknowledge any mistakes? Or you really think that Washington can be trusted? I mean, they can say, no, what, we're not going to attack you. And so what? Tehran going to believe in that? I mean, are you kidding me? Right? I know diplomats, by the way, and Abbas Araghchi is a diplomat, right? And he cannot shut down door for negotiations. This is not the way true diplomats operate, right? Theoretically speaking, door for negotiation should be open always, but at the same time, as I said many times before, by the way, we are at the point now when leadership of collective West countries cannot be trusted, period. Full stop. There is no sense in talking to Western elites. There is no sense in that, because it's just too obvious. I mean, how many times this has to be proven that Western ruling class, their puppet regimes all over the Western world, are using negotiations as a deception. They are not honest in negotiations. They are not intent to honor any agreement whatsoever, right? And this is proven so many times that I don't think anybody with their common sense would have any doubts on that. And while situation is like this, what is the point in having a talk, man? For what exactly? either Tehran or Moscow or Beijing or I don't know, man, any other capital outside of the collective West should waste time on talking to representatives of the collective West. I mean, it has no sense, right? It makes no sense. And Iran, better Iran should, prepare for what is about to begin again, right? I was correct when I was saying that West gonna attack Iran, and probably, remember my prediction? I was saying probably they will use Israel first. Israel will attack first, and then US will join. That's exactly what happened. And I'm saying again that escalation, second phase of escalation in Middle East is about to start, right? It's only a matter of a short time, by the way, short time. So better Tehran prepares for to defend itself. Let's say this way. Also, dear friends, yesterday Ursula von der Leyen survived no confidence vote as head of the European Commission. I was predicting that that's exactly what is going to happen. She was put in that place, that position by globalists for a reason, right? And they're not gonna remove her just because some MPs maybe are not happy with her work, right? And that's exactly what is happening. Good news for Ursula, for globalists, bad news for citizens of EU member states, because Brussels are quite effectively destroying European economies. Also, RT is reporting that Trump announces unprecedented tariff on a key metal. So US President Donald Trump has announced that he is imposing 50% tariff on copper imports starting August 1st in a bid to revive domestic production. Okay, by the way, I mean, this stuff is becoming like daily news, isn't it? That Trump imposed tariffs on this and on that, and then he is backtracking, then he is imposing tariffs again. I mean, US is Washington, by the way. Let's say this way: Washington is turned into medical facility for mentally ill, man. That's what Washington is right now. Like it or not, but that's what Washington is, man. Take a look at their so-called political class in the West, man. How many people there are living impression that they are okay in terms of mental state? None, one, two, Anyways, this is not all. This is not all. As I said, Washington nowadays is throwing these tariffs left and right, as if it's like a game for them. Interfax is reporting that US plans to introduce a general tariff on the import of foreign products in the amount of 15 to 20%. We have a quote from Trump himself. We just want to say that all the other countries will pay 20 or 15%. We are working on that right now. And this will affect all the countries that have no trade agreements with US. That is a majority of the world, by the way, including EU, because EU is struggling to achieve to reach some agreements when it comes to trade with the US, right? And I'm gonna end this new segment with this report that ruble, Russian national currency, hits 2-year high against the dollar. The Russian ruble surged to a 2-year high against the US dollar on Thursday, as a result of strong trade inflows and supportive government policies. According to analysts, the ruble was trading below 75 rubles to a dollar, marking its strongest level since 2023. Currency also strengthened to 86.5 rubles against the euro, gaining more than 5%. And well, this might looks like a good news for Russian economy, but this is not really the case, in my personal opinion. I'm not an economist, obviously, but I don't think strong ruble is helping Russian businesses. Russia is an export-oriented economy, isn't it? And I don't think this strengthening of the ruble is helping either Russian business or Russian federal budget to deal with their deficit. And I don't think this strong ruble helps either society here. My personal take. And at some point, by the way, there are objective reasons why ruble is strengthening, isn't it? Because due to Western sanctions, countries that are doing business with Russia, they are buying Russian currency, right? In many occasions, they are buying Russian currency to buy some goods from Russia, and that puts additional pressure on Russian ruble to become even stronger and stronger and stronger. There are also some other reasons, including high rate of the central bank, high interest rate of the central bank, which is 20% right now, isn't it? 20 or 21? 20, which is high, by the way, right? And I think before end of autumn, at least before end of autumn, probably economical bloc will use whatever mechanism they have to weaken ruble, at least a little bit, because this is not good for economy, man, not good for federal budget, not good for anybody, really. It's only like a lazy approach to think that stronger your currency is better for the economy and the people. No, man, it's not always the case. Sometimes it might be the case, but definitely not always, right? And the number of experts, by the way, from a financial sector are already making statements about the dangers that comes with this constant strengthening of the ruble. Nevertheless, this is it for now, dear friends, for news segment. I hope it's a short one. 37 minutes, yes, that's what I was hoping for, to do it shorter. And okay, hopefully you will find it informative and useful. Let me go now through chat. Was there any super chat? Oh, okay. There was no super chat on Rumble, but there was right now during the stream, there was a donation on PayPal from Nathan. Thank you very much, Nathan, for your support and attention. And there is a comment here. Thank you, Levant, for all the interesting information you share with us. This is the comment. Thank you very much, Nathan. Truly grateful for your support. And dear friends, I will go through chat now. And we have commentary from Adriana Galota. Everyone is being deceived. All nations are being deceived. I guess you are talking about Trump and his administration, this MAGA leadership. I would not say that MAGA movement itself was a fraud or is a fraud. No, I truly believe that many millions, tens of millions of US citizens were honestly believing that people that were leading this movement are truly for America first. And they've been deceived, by the way, and whole world was deceived, actually, right? As I said, even me, by the way, even though initially my instinct was correct when I was saying that these people, man, cannot be trusted, Trump and his administration, at some point, because I want to see the escalation, by the way, I'm a human being, right? Because I want to see the escalation, I become a little more hopeful that maybe, just maybe, something positive will come out of this administration and maybe we will see the escalation. But very day when Trump, if you remember, when Trump went to say that Russia is targeting military and logistical infrastructure in Kyiv region for no reason, when Trump said that Russia is targeting for no reason, while he was talking about Russia's retaliatory strike for previous strike of Kyiv regime that killed Russian civilians, you know what? I realized that I cannot. These people cannot be trusted, man. I realized that my initial instinct was correct, right? And no matter how much hope we have or had that the escalation will happen, we cannot lie to ourselves, right? We have to be real. We have to face the reality as it is. By the way, it might be scary, it might be not pleasant, or whatever it is, but we have to face the reality. That's the only way forward. And I was correct. I was correct. Since then, Trump, on many occasions, by the way, demonstrated, and he's a affiliate, his people that are affiliated with him demonstrated many times that they are not about peace or the escalation. By the way. They are warmongers, as any other previous administration was, right? It is what it is. So I agree with you, Adriano. Banzo Beans is commenting, cool sunny morning here in the land of milk and chocolate. He is referring to Switzerland, of course. And Banzo, you don't know weather here in Moscow, but it's a heat wave. For several days now, Moscow is experiencing heat wave, and it's really hot. It's really hot, by the way. Today, if forecast is correct, I believe today temperature will reach a 35 degree Celsius, which is a quite lot for this part of the world, right? Not in the south, but where temperature easily can reach up to 40 degrees or even higher. But in northern latitudes, of course, such temperatures are quite something. And let's scroll different. Sorry if I will miss your question. I see Nidish Kumar has a question. Once again, dear friends, hello everyone, and many thanks for joining this stream. Question is that, Levan, do you think the representative that won and lost from a constituency must sit in the parliament to counter each other for better democracy, irrespective of party? So, representative that won and lost from a constituency must sit in a parliament. Oh, that's I mean, that's the question for political scientists. I did not really think about it. Um, uh, Maybe it makes sense in terms of representation of the public, right? Public opinion. But in other hand, who won, right? And basically, it is also logical to have a person in the parliament that actually won the election, that gained support of majority. You cannot and will never please everyone, right? You're always gonna have some opinions that some people would find interesting and will agree with you, and some people will not. You know, it is always the case, and you know, fine. And John, thank you very much. Banzo Beans, thank you very much for your super chat. Dollar donation. Comment is for your upcoming merch store, Levan coffee, no garbage elements. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, John, for your support and assistance. Truly grateful. So yes, Nidish, when it comes to representation of the public in legislation, local or federal, I did not really think about it, which system would be better. But if you win, you win. If you don't, you don't. That's although I can see what you mean. That if both are represented, then they will represent most of the people. Let's say, even in that case, they wouldn't represent all, right? But most. but that will create war, that will destroy work of legislative institution. I think they will constantly, mess around some topics, never agree on anything. So, there is that stuff also. Nidish Kumar is asking Levan, is that poster from official account? Yes, it is White House account. That's why I shared, by the way. I checked, many channels reported about it, right? Many big channels reported about it. So yes, it is from White House, by the way. That poster when Trump is impersonated as a Superman. It's sickening, by the way. Truly, it's not. Clearly, those people are not healthy, man. They are mentally ill people. I mean, that's the only explanation that I can come up with. I mean, do you listen how people speak in U.S. administration in regards to Trump? Is if he is some sort of, I don't know, man, God for them or something. They are praising him just too much, man. One thing is to have respect, right? But you are doing job, by the way, for people. You should work for people. If you want to praise someone, praise the people, not the freaking officials, man. It's not normal, right? Basic respect, yes, of course, it's necessary, absolutely. But to praise a president like they do in US, by the way, it's like, what the hell, man? Wow, it's not normal, man. It's just no, not. It's a cult, clearly, by the way. Questions. What? What? Uh, what's in your head? Am I reading correctly? What's in your head? Thank you very much for your $5 super chat donation. Comment is, I would also support Levan, branded Russian coffee. Thank you very much, dear friends. Thank you very much for your support, assistance, for ideas. One day, maybe I will have some merch. I don't know. Right now, dear friends, I can come up with some ideas, right? But for example, to send something, let's say I create some merch, just a T-shirt, either I don't know LGO network written on it, or let's continue. I mean, phrases that I was using quite often, or still continue to use. Anything really, because merch is one of the ways how community is supporting creator, right? And even if I come up with some stuff to send the merch into Europe, by the way, or to US, or to Australia, or to Western countries. I mean, other parts of the world is much easier and cheaper, but when it comes to collective West, due to Western sanctions, it is still technically possible, isn't it, Anya, to send a merch, but it is becoming extremely expensive. And yes, again, yet again, there are companies that are helping with merch, but they use a Stripe system. I don't know who are behind this payment system, by the way, Stripe, but they are overrunning all the other systems there, right? And unfortunately, Stripe is not available neither in Russia, neither in Georgia, right? Otherwise, I would create that account there, me or my wife, and we will use their system. But nevertheless, someday in the future, maybe. Alan Richard, thank you very much for your $2 donation, for your super chat. Levan Gudadze, Matryoshka dolls for their merch store. Yes, I mean, thank you, dear friends. As I said, maybe one day it will be realistic to do some merch stuff, and I will definitely, take in account your recommendations. Some ideas could be funny, some more serious, but as long as community is okay and happy, by the way, it's all good, right?
Can you have it Z t-shirt?
I'm Nidish Kumar is also commenting, Luan, you are wrong. He knows what he is doing. Shorter selling stocks. He is using George Soros method. I mean, if you mean Trump and his team that is basically engaged in inside trading, might be true, isn't it? Might be true. I'm sure it is true, by the way. I'm sure they are manipulating with the markets to gain some leverage, right? But I mean, he is a president of country, isn't it? He is a president of country, and I mean, U.S. is a Washington is a mess right now. I mean, our friends from U.S. can share their take, right? They're living in U.S. and it is interesting to see what they think about all these chaos, by the way, that is happening. Is it normal for them? I don't think so, because I don't know, man. Current administration, who would imagine that it is possible to have administration worse than previous one? I mean, it turns out, yes, it is possible, and Trump's administration clearly is worse than Biden's administration. Definitely not better, by the way, right? Trump and his team lied literally about everything they said during their election campaign. Literally everything, right? Right? They are not ending no wars, by the way. They are not normalizing relationships with nobody. They are not even delivering on their promise to shut down border and to deport illegal migrants, by the way. There is a massive noise about the topic, but as I said many times before, by the way, this influx of from other countries in US of illegal migrants or legal migrants or whatever, this is organized by uniparty, by Western ruling class, by US ruling class that are in control of both parties, right? And they are organizing this influx because I guess they think this is artificial inflation of number of people in US or US population is the only way they have to somehow maintain relevant on geopolitical scale in 30, 40, 50 years time, right? And I think they are targeting 500 million mark. I think US elites, they want to reach at least 500 million mark, by the way. And it's connected with their geopolitics, by the way. It's connected with their maintenance of their position on geopolitical scale. And I'll give you some numbers, by the way. Recently, I read an article according to which Iran, just in 1 month, by the way, either in May or in June, deported some 400,000 Afghanis into Afghanistan from Iran in a single month. How many illegal migrants were deported from US since the inauguration of the Trump? Less, much less, right? So they are lying about everything. They are making noise. They are good at propaganda, for sure. But and in deception, I mean, they are experts in that, right? I mean, Western ruling class and their puppets all over their collective as countries in regimes, but they are not delivering, man. They are not, and some people are failing for this propaganda, obviously, but they are not delivering on anything for the people. Uh, Sergio Leone is asking what will be the base currency of BRICS. Probably Chinese yuan, by the way. Not probably, most likely. And some countries don't like this, as far as I can tell, and are opposing this idea. And that's why we have seen no progress in terms of, at least significant progress in terms of building alternative financial and the banking system by BRICS that is so necessary in this world. I think China as a leading economy obviously has certain ambitions, right? Um, and why wouldn't they, for God's sake? I mean, why wouldn't they? Chinese economy is bigger than all other BRICS member states combined, right? So there is that. And also, by the way, if countries will agree, they might come up with something, some different mechanisms. I don't know, crypto sort of, or something. I don't know, but if it comes to BRICS currency, then baseline is going to be yuan, because yuan is already being used in majority of trade as a payment currency in most of the trade between BRICS member states. Russian ruble is also in demand, but I mean, Chinese yuan is definitely number one currency when it comes to demand, right, for trade. And yet again, Chinese economy is the biggest economy. So yeah, yuan, I guess. Some might don't like it, or some might do, but we have to face reality yet again, by the way. I mean, let's be real. Let's do real politics, Let's do something that are based on this reality, not some imaginary world, as Western ruling class does, right? And by doing so, destroying collective West countries and their economies. We have to be, true to reality. I already commented on that. And dumb questions. I guess this is it, isn't it? Almost an hour, by the way. А где? Я не вижу. Matter is asking, Levan, we've heard constantly that this year this will end there. Now we hear yet again another year or two is needed. Why can't you accept that you can't go to Kiev and end this? Your population has... I don't know what you're talking about, Matt. What you know about opinion of Russian population, Russian society? When you study it, I don't know. And I don't know what kind of answer you are expecting. You are telling that we are losing the war, or what is your take? If you think we are losing the war and collective West is winning, then, I mean, that's your opinion, isn't it? I cannot do nothing about it. I will just disagree. I think we already won. It's only formalization is left, right? And whatever time it will take, well, we will finalize this objective reality that we have defeated collective Western ruling class, let's say. That's it, you know. And and dear friends, let's end this live stream now. Once again, thank you very much for your attention and support. Let's see how day goes news-wise, and either I will do second live stream later on today, or maybe if it's not going to be too hot outside towards the evening, maybe I will go for a little walk and record the second news update outside for Patreon, but some part of it will be published on YouTube and Rumble too. Anyways, thank you very much for your attention, dear friends, for your support. Have a wonderful day, and see you soon. Take care.